千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. As always, I want to extend my welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. I would like to invite you to center your thoughts and direct your attention to this moment in time, to the here and now, to be fully present and mindfully aware as we are ready ourselves for this sacred process in the Tao with one another. At this level, the Tao mind is no longer about the dichotomy of positive versus negative. This is important. We need to explain what this means exactly. It is tied to the question, what shall be the transformation of Tao for me? So we'll get to that by analyzing positive versus negative. It is all about why. Let's talk about what we see or what most people perceive as negative versus positive, and then tie it together to show how they are actually one and the same. Let's start with the negative, and we can draw from life, from negative experiences that most people would agree, yeah, that's bad. I'm so sorry that happened to you. That was definitely a bad thing. Lao Tzu is telling us to elevate our thinking to the next level. Now, example one, on the negative side. In life, there's been certain people who abandoned you just when you needed them most. Definitely negative. What is the other side of the coin? What is the complement in the complementary duality? You learned how to be independent and self-sufficient. From the experience, you realize that ultimately you can only count on yourself. And when you have that measure of independence and self-sufficiency, you no longer go through life fearing that people will abandon you again just when you need them the most. We have a positive. Another example, similar to the first, someone you trusted betrayed your trust. Not exactly the same, because this could be a scenario when someone you trusted with confidential information betrayed your trust by revealing that confidential information to other people. Well, that's a very negative thing. What's the complement? You learned to be more discerning in choosing truly trustworthy friends. That is, you don't trust people blindly. You don't trust people just because they tell you that they are trustworthy. You need to be much more discerning than that. That discernment is very positive. You can see how this pattern goes. Consider this. You were attacked, bullied, and mocked growing up. That is an experience, very negative, shared by many of us. Experience of being bullied. So what about the positive side of it? Well, you learn to be strong so you can protect yourself. Perhaps more importantly, you learn to be able to protect other people from the bullying that you went through. That's a positive. We could go on, but let's just do one more. You stumbled and fell at one point in your journey. This is meant to be a catch-all. Other negative experiences, I can metaphorically speaking describe them as having stumbled in life, having fallen in life at some point. And the general positive to complement that is to say you learned to get back on your feet, to recover, to keep going. Now, looking at the two here, it becomes clear. You can't have one without the other. You can't have the positive without the negative. It is just like when we say you cannot improve yourself physically without training. People who are involved with martial arts, they know this saying, cry in the dojo, laugh on the battlefield. To laugh on the battlefield, positive, it means you are skillful and deadly. To cry in the dojo, that means the training that you go through is anything but easy. Same thing with athletic disciplines. When you go through training, that's not fun. But when you get stronger, more agile, that's great. But one doesn't happen without the other. It's just not how the world works. So I have a sketch of a Tao symbol, the yin and yang symbol below. What I'm trying to say here is that whether people see them as good or bad, negative or positive, you can see from here how they can serve you, even the negative side of life. Even the worst thing happening to you can catalyze you a transformation to turn yourself into a different and better person. So this is the mystery to master about the unity of yin and yang. At the underlying level of reality, it's actually not two, but one. Whether people see it as positive or negative, they're the same path, your path, the same journey, your journey. And just as it was in our previous example with the Buddha, Lao Tzu was not the only sage who came up with this realization. Other sages throughout history, East and West, have come upon the same wisdom, the same insight. And I want to present you with another example that is also from the Zen tradition. Of course, I want to reiterate that the Zen tradition is what happened historically when there was a fusion of Buddhist teachings and Tao teachings. This is from the Platform Sutra. The Platform Sutra is a most important classic in the Zen tradition. Toward the end of the Platform Sutra, there is a fascinating section where Huineng, the sixth patriarch, is asked to explain advanced Dharma. I have the original text to the left, and I have prepared my own translation for you on the right. As always, when I translate anything, including this, my guarantee to you is that you can match every element in the original text to the English rendition for 100% accuracy. I skip nothing. I add nothing. It's a little surprising I even have to say that, but this is a basic requirement for translation. So let's go through paragraph 1. Light and darkness. Ordinary people see them as two things. while the wise realize their nature is not two, but one. This nature of not being two is the true nature. This sounds very similar to what we have just talked about. And the most important thing to note here is the expression true nature. Specifically, Huineng was referring to the true nature of everything. Now, what he's saying is that everything includes the true nature of human beings as well, because we are, after all, part of everything. And the soul of human beings is one with the true nature of reality itself. Let's go to paragraph 2. About this true nature, Huineng further explains, this true nature is not decreased in the ignorant, nor is it increased in the sage. It is not disturbed in an agitated state, nor is it inactive in a meditative state. This is interesting. This is basically saying what we call true nature, or the soul, if you prefer. There's no distinction among people. It is not like saying that some people know more, have more knowledge than other people. Some people are smarter than other people. When it comes to the soul, it is one and the same. This is making it doubly clear that what we're talking about applies to reality, to existence, and that's why we're all included. The true nature of human beings is the same in everybody. Nobody has more or less of it. It is always with us, regardless of our current state of being. We can be active, inactive, it's there. It's ever present. That is what it's trying to express. Paragraph 3. It is not discontinued or constant. It does not arrive or depart. It is not in the middle, inside or outside. It is neither born nor extinguished. Its essence is always as it is. It is eternal and unchanging. It is called the Tao. That very last sentence may sound surprising. Is this not the Zen tradition we're talking about? Was Huineng not the patriarch of the Zen tradition in his time? Why would he be talking about the Tao and not Zen? Well, as you can see in the original text, the very last character there, that's exactly the same character as what we have in the upper right-hand corner of this slide. It's just the character for the Tao. So some translations will render it as the way. Well, it's actually the exact same thing as the Tao. A rose by any other name would smell just as sweet. Changing the label doesn't change the concept you are pointing to. So yeah, he's talking about the Tao right here. Can it be all along that true nature is simply the Tao? Is that what this is telling us? Let's check. Huineng says true nature is not a physical thing and cannot be described as such. It does not arrive, it does not depart. It has no location. It is not in the middle, it is not on the inside or outside, because it is everywhere. It is nowhere and everywhere. It's ever present. It is neither born nor extinguished, meaning This true nature, the Tao, is eternal and unchanging. Yes, we're talking about the exact same thing. We're talking about the eternal Tao. Using almost the exact same words as what we have already studied in chapter 1 of the Tao Te Ching. Now, let me do a reality check about this concept. Is it true to life? Is it useful and practical like all other teachings we've been discussing so far? As I mentioned, in the West, many people perceive good and bad as different and separate. They see them as different things. And yet, with a bit of wisdom and a lot of experience in life, we have all seen how in the reality of everyday living, you and me and everyone else is a mixture of positive and negative. Nobody is all good or all bad. Nobody. That includes you and me. We are all complex mixtures. All we can really do, what we should do, is manage the proportion, like the yin and yang symbol. As you have already seen a couple of slides ago, no matter what it is, whether people see it as positive or negative, well, they can all serve us. It just depends on how we look at them, how we utilize them. This is exactly why Lao Tzu says yin and yang differ in name, but emerge from the same source. Now it makes sense. When we recognize this unity, this oneness of purpose, this one function of the Tao serving us, it is a powerful epiphany. You and I are meant to take it and use it. When I say you and I are meant to take it, what I mean specifically is that you and I are meant to take the path or to embark on the journey. We're meant to embark on this journey, and we're meant to do so together. Doing so together, we experience the Tao together. This is the final point Lao Tzu makes in the first chapter of the Tao Te Ching. When you do work your way to this point that Lao Tzu has made, I think you can see, as I do, it is a stunning point. Of course, that's the way it is. Of course, it cannot be any other way. This is indeed the mystery of mysteries. It's just the Tao, pure and simple. And graphically, I bring the Tao yin and yang symbol together with the symbol for the Zen. Graphically, it is shown as two, but I hope you see what I mean when I point to the graphics at the bottom and say, in fact, they are one. So this leads me to the final point in my discussion of Tao Te Ching Chapter 1. In our example, just now, the sixth patriarch, Huineng and Lao Tzu, were two different individuals separated in time by more than 1,000 years. People think of them as belonging to two different traditions. The Zen tradition and the Tao tradition, they're different, they're separate. And yet, the truth they expressed were not two, but one. Ultimately, this is what we find for all great truths. They all emerge from and return to the same source, the source of human wisdom. As you have heard today, the Zen tradition talks about words as the finger pointing at the moon. We therefore realize we should not focus so much on the finger that we forget to look at the heavenly glory of the moon. The Tao tradition will state the same idea directly. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. In other words, do not focus so much on the spoken words that you miss the heavenly glory of the Tao. I think it is easy to recognize that this is exactly the same wisdom. Once again, not two, but one. The Zen tradition talks about the clouds of ignorance and desires obscuring the moon. So it is too dark at night to travel safely. When these dark clouds have parted, desires have been managed, moderated, and dispelled. You have the road illuminated so you can see ahead of you and travel under the moonlight. The Tao tradition is, as we all know, about the journey of life. As I learned from the Grand Master many years ago, it would be best to travel the journey of life with the fog lifted so you can look far ahead and enjoy the beautiful clarity of a sunny day for the next leg of your journey. These are indeed not different truths. They are one and the same. That's the reason why I have prepared this graphic for you. And I am using the expression here that you see in this slide, 万法归一. The first character there, 1, means 10,000, but the actual meaning is all. Fa, the second character, is Dharma, in this case, plural. All Dharmas, 万法. Gui, the third character, means return. Yi, the last character there, means one. All dharmas return to the one, meaning all wisdom have the same source. In this graphic, you will see that it combines all the elements we have discussed so far. You see a path illuminated by moonlight, the heavenly glory of the moon, unobscured by the clouds. Where does the path lead? It leads to the door. What door? The door to all wonders. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.